With AI, innovation is moving at an absolutely blistering pace. So, how do we make sure it's all being developed responsibly, effectively, and, actually in line with our goals? Well, the answer really comes down to building solid policies across the entire AI lifecycle. Think of it like we're constructing the essential guardrails for the road ahead. So, let's break down how to build them, one step at a time. Here's what we're going to cover. We'll walk through the 5 key stages of building out these guardrails. We're going to start with that solid governance foundation, then move right through planning, development, and deployment. And we'll wrap up by looking at how you adapt your policies and manage risk that comes from outside partners. Okay, so before we can build any specific policy, we have to lay the groundwork. This is the governance foundation. It's the what and the why behind our entire strategy for responsible AI. So what exactly is AI governance? It's the whole shebang. It's an organization's complete game plan for managing AI. It's a framework that's not just about managing risks, like model bias or privacy issues, but it's about actively building trust and enabling innovation in a really structured, accountable way. And this right here, this is our roadmap. The AI system development lifecycle, it's an iterative loop, not some straight line. See how it flows from planning and design through data collection, development, testing, and deployment, and then all the way to monitoring and eventually decommissioning. Our policies, our guardrails, they need to be there at every single step of this journey. All right, let's put this framework into practice, starting at the very beginning, the planning and design phase. This is where we chart the course, and let me tell you, getting it right here prevents a whole world of problems down the line. Before a single line of code gets written, the very first policy gate is the use case assessment. And this is not a simple thumbs up or thumbs down. It's a really deep, structured evaluation where you ask the tough questions. Is this AI project even viable? Does it align with our goals? Is it actually necessary? This makes sure we're only chasing systems that are both effective and responsible from the get-go. So how do you actually do this? Well, the NIST AI Risk Management Framework gives us this fantastic 3-step process. First, you map the context. What's the purpose? Who are the stakeholders? What could possibly go wrong? Second, you measure those risks. How bad could they be and how likely are they to happen? And finally, you manage them by creating a solid plan to mitigate, transfer, or just plain avoid them. Now, what's really interesting here is how this breaks down the specific tools you can use. The NIST framework gives us the what, and these tools show us the how. A use case evaluation checks if AI is even the right tool for the job. Stakeholder mapping gets everybody, legal, IT, HR, in the room from day one. A probability/severity matrix helps you quantify the risk, and the mitigation hierarchy, well, that becomes your action plan. Okay, with a solid plan in place, we're ready to enter the active development and testing phase. At this point, our policies shift to governing how the system is actually being built. We're talking about data integrity, model training, and some really rigorous validation. And this visual, it just perfectly illustrates a core concept. Data governance is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous process that mirrors the entire life of the data itself, from the second it's collected, through its use, all the way to its secure destruction. This table really breaks it down. When you're gathering training data, governance means you're validating its legal basis and making sure it's diverse and accurate to prevent problems later. During testing, you're not just looking for bugs, you're actively checking for fairness and model drift. At deployment, your policies need to cover real-time inputs and the absolutely critical role of human oversight. And finally, decommissioning is not an afterthought. It requires secure deletion based on strict retention rules. It's also so important that we don't mix up these two processes. Training is where the model learns from the data we feed it. It's like sending the model to school. But testing and validation, that's the final exam. That's where we verify that it actually learned the right lessons and that it can handle the messiness of the real world. So, the model is built and tested. Now it's go time. Our policies have to shift again. This time focusing on deployment readiness, continuous monitoring, and having a clear plan for when things inevitably go wrong. This is the launch and learn phase. So this is the question every single team has to ask themselves. The model is built, but is it really ready for the real world? And this is exactly why a formal readiness assessment is absolutely non-negotiable. This assessment has to answer some very direct, very essential questions. Does the system actually do its job? Did it pass all its tests? Has its conformity to regulations been verified? Are there any sneaky data quality issues hanging around? And crucially, has a model card been created? Think of this like a nutrition ladle for an AI model. It's a standard document that explains its purpose, its performance, and its limitations. Once a model is live, monitoring is not a passive activity. It's an active strategy. A risk-based inventory helps you focus your attention on the most critical systems. Model drift management is there to catch performance decay when real-world data starts to change. Standardized documentation creates that incredibly important paper trail for accountability. And emergency protocols, things like kill switches, they are your ultimate safety net. And when an incident happens, because trust me, it will, a clear response plan is vital. Step 1, activate that plan with the same urgency you'd have for a data breach. Step 2, figure out the root cause and document every single thing you do. Step 3, notify all your downstream partners to stop a cascading failure. And step 4, make sure a human can hit the kill switch to override the system and prevent any more harm. In our final section, we're going to tackle two really crucial topics: how to adapt your existing policies for AI, and how to manage the new risks that come from using third-party tools and vendors. See, AI governance doesn't exist in a bubble. It means you have to take a hard look at your existing policies. Your data privacy policies, they need an update. Your security policies now have to account for AI-specific threats, like adversarial attacks, where someone uses malicious data to trick a model. You need clear IP policies for AI-generated content and a defined stance on using open-source models. Third-party risk also looks really different depending on your role. If you're developing AI for other people, you have to ask, who's going to use this and how will we monitor it? If you're buying a system, your vendor vetting process is everything. And if you're just governing the internal use of off-the-shelf tools, the key questions are all about access and auditing. And that brings us full circle, right back to our foundational definition. AI governance is the complete approach, using laws, policies, frameworks, and processes to make sure AI aligns with our goals, is used responsibly, and builds trust with every single person it impacts. And so we'll end with a question for you to think about. Your AI is live, or it's going to be soon. But in this landscape that's changing by the second, are your policies, your guardrails, actually keeping pace with the technology? Because governance isn't a one-time project. It's a continuous, ongoing commitment to responsible innovation.